Matthew chapter 23. On this 50th week of 52, I want to share out of Matthew Gospel, the 23rd chapter, giving focus and fixation on verses 27 and 28. There you will find these words. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness. Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Teaching today from the thought, the subject, the theme, fake people. Fake people. Fake people. Fake people. Come on, sideswipe your neighbor. Said, I'm not talking about you. But fake people. What an extraordinary lesson, one of presentation that Jesus gives to the people of that day and that hour. It's extraordinary because Jesus has never been more scandalous, no more bold and brazen throughout any of the readings and the writings than he is in this particular text as he relates to the people for whom he is addressing. Jesus has much more patience and tolerance for weakness and even wickedness than he does for pretense. He can bear along with us much longer if there's some impediment that works in us, even if there's some volition that comes out of us to step across the lines. He has more tolerance for that. But the one thing that Jesus hates is hypocrisy. He hates pretense. He hates those who give a presentation of one thing. In actuality, there's something else. This is serious because if you read the 23rd chapter of Matthew, there's 7 woes in there. 7. From verses 13 up to verse 27, he offers 7 woes unto them. And we know a woe is a warning. And he always gives a warning before he brings an indictment or a judgment. He's not speaking to the unsaved, supposedly. He's not speaking to the unchurched. He's not addressing the world and those that are worldly. He is offended by people who give a pictorial of Christ and the kingdom who are not what they say they are. The witness of the kingdom is at risk and challenged when we give people an image of something that we are not. My, y'all are extra silent. Jesus deals with them at this particular time because along with the Palestinian Jew, he talks about whited sepulchres because they did a whitewashing in that day around the 15th of the month of Adar or Adar, which is normally the month of March. That is an Eastern practice wherein we as Westerners do the same thing. We do a spring cleaning. It's when we do a deep cleaning of washing the windows and deep stuff, clearing out clutter and freshening up in a much deeper way. They would do this around the month of Adar because they was getting ready for the Passover. So as they would get ready for the Passover, they would be conspicuous. They would wash the tombs. They would wash their houses because they wanted it obvious that for the travelers that would come, that the travelers will know that's a grave site, that's whatever, because to touch anything that was dead would defile them a week before the Passover. So following Jewish customs, Jesus takes their culture, translated in words, and tell them that they who are representatives of the church are no more than a cemetery. That they're like a grave, that they present themselves in a certain way outwardly, but inwardly they are dead men's bones. Jesus has no tolerance for fake stuff, because when you look in chapter 21 of the book of Matthew, you'll remember when Jesus was hungry and he was walking up with his disciples and he came across a fig tree. And he was hungry, hoping there were some figs on the tree, but the tree had leaves on it, but it had no figs. Because agriculturally and correctly, along with a fig tree, that there's never a fig tree that have leaves without figs. And so the fig tree was giving off an image that it was ready for fruit, but it had no fruit on it, but it gave a presentation of leaves on it. So what Jesus did, he didn't leave the tree alone. The Bible said he cursed the tree. He killed the tree, because Jesus is scandalous and very deliberate when it comes to fake stuff. Y'all remember in Acts chapter 5, there was a modern day prominent couple in the church by the name of Ananias and Sapphira who was in good attendance, and the church had need of resources, and they decided among themselves to conspire to give off an image that they had sacrificed and gave all that they had, when they already negotiated to hold back part of the price, but present to the church that they were all in, but they were not. Because Jesus is very scandalous, bold, and brazen when it comes to fake stuff. In fact, you and I are scandalous when it comes to that, because we don't like fake people. We don't like pretense. We prefer something to be genuine and upfront and honest. Can y'all wave at me? Nobody likes anybody smiling in their face and then behind their back saying something else. Nobody likes someone pretending that they are a friend and a support and an ally, but behind the scene, they're conspiring, hoping and wishing that your life would falter and fail. Do I have a witness in here? And because the counterfeit and because of the sham of what fake looks like, so many are deceived, because this is an image of Satan. It is a strategy of Satan to give us the image of something that looks real when it is not. You remember in the letter of Corinthians when Paul once mentioned that we got to be very careful and discerning of our atmosphere, and those who have gifts and talents and operated in a charisma, that we understand that everybody around you is not as genuine as they say they are, because he says that even Satan can make his ministers, who are ministers of dark, appear to be ministers of light. Here is the lesson that we have to learn from this, that you cannot always gauge and view and come to a conclusion from the front end, at the top end, at a topical area, at a surface area, that everything that you're seeing and everything that you're hearing is genuine. Are y'all with me here? Because this is where deception creeps in. This is where deceit has its greatest place. Because sometimes we're so gullible that we hear something and see something, we assume that it's genuine. But in order to find something that's genuine without a sham, you got to give it some time and allow what is real to present itself. Do I have a witness in here? And that's why oftentimes we are confused about what is genuine in contrast to that which is disingenuous, because oftentimes we appear to look at things from the surface and assume that it is true. But if you're going to be discerning and wise, you got to take a deeper look. Tap somebody right there and say, you got to take a deeper look. Listen to what Jesus says. He says, outwardly you're clean. Outwardly, you're dressed appropriately. Outwardly, you give the picture of something that should be a model of what we ought to follow. But underneath, inwardly, you're dead, unrighteous, and ungodly. That's why you can't get caught up on this thing that somebody looked like a Christian based because they dress a certain way. I wish I had a witness in here. Because you can put a collar on and a long dress with no makeup. I wish I had a witness in here. And look as plain as you want to, but that still don't make you holy, and it still don't make you godly. Do I have a witness in here? Lord have mercy. Some people associate their dress, their appearance with holiness. Lord have mercy. Put on some thick stockings. Don't comb your hair. Don't put no makeup on. Don't do this, that, and the other. That's not holy. That's homely. Because what you got to understand, beloved, your external beauty should be a reflection of your internal beauty. In fact, the matter is that when you really improve upon your inside, it should become reflective of your outside. In fact, this is how I judge some things for myself and sometimes observe my outer courts. Lord have mercy, that when a person really think well of themselves, Lord have mercy, in character and everything else, they start from the inside and then it should be reflective on the outside. How dare you say you love you and you don't take care of you? How dare you say that you appreciate you and show no appreciation towards you? It's an inside job. If you love you and love your character, you would also love your appearance. Do I have a witness? And anybody who loves themselves don't just get up and go out and look any kind of way. They are cognizant of what they should present themselves like from the exterior, because it's a basis on how they think on the inside. Do I have a witness in here? How you handle everything that you're involved in is a statement of how you really think about everything else. Do I have a witness in here? If you're driving around in a very filthy car, how can you step out all clean up yourself in your car? Lord have mercy, look dirty on the inside. How? Come on, talk back to me. It's going to get quiet right about here. Lord have mercy, how can you appreciate the house that God gives you and you don't even treat the lawn properly? How? Come on, talk back to me. Lord have mercy, you can appreciate the house but never mop the floor, don't vacuum. Come on, talk back to me, somebody, because it is entwined one to another. The same is true if you care about your body, and if the thoughts are right, you will watch what you ingest in your body to eat proper things. It just don't stop in one area. It should follow us through every phase and every stage of our life. If you love yourself and care about yourself and want to a point where you don't want to put added pressure on yourself, you will not go out here and charge up stuff that you cannot afford, trying to accommodate everybody for somebody else's birthday. Y'all do know that Christmas is not your birthday. It's not your relative's birthday. It is the acknowledgement of Jesus Christ. I wish I had a witness. Now, some of us are born on the 25th. That's the day we celebrate it. But what you got to understand, too many people are topical in the exterior. That's why we hear and don't listen. That's why we look and don't see. Because most of us are driven by the exterior. That's why when you look at him, you look at her, you've already drawn a conclusion. I want that. But when you get that, you say, what is that? I wish I had a witness in here, because once you get past the exterior, the real thing shows up. Come on, don't look at the neighbor next to him and just give them a low five saying that preacher is talking right. Lord have mercy. That's why relationships are tested and tried. That's why friendships are tested and tried, because we look at things from the top, from the exterior, and don't spend enough time pondering, praying, meditating, and getting a deeper sense underneath. That's why those who are more established and settled, those are the ones that look from within first, get their strength, their settlement, their establishment on the inside of them. That way their mood swing don't change. Do you have anybody, Lord have mercy, that just shifts on you regularly with their mood swing? One minute they're just as kind, the next minute they're somewhat cold and different. Do I have a witness in here? Lord have mercy, and they don't even really need medicine. Lord have mercy, there's really not a medical problem that's going on with them. They just don't have a sense of control over their own temperament. Y'all are quiet, but I'll keep on talking. They don't make no sense in the world that when you got godliness, righteousness, and temperance, and peace, and kindness, and love, Lord have mercy, taking up residence on the inside of you, why are you so moody on the outside? How can you have so much God on the inside and act so much like the devil on the outside? How can you say that you love God, Lord have mercy, and got a relationship with God, but everything you're reflecting is a counterfeit? And the reason why counterfeits survive in our society, because we want real, genuine stuff that looks real and genuine at a counterfeit price. Oh, I just said something. Lord have mercy, you really want the expensive bag, but you want to pay it at a basement price. I wish I had a witness in here. You really want an expensive look, but you want to get it as cheap as possible. I wish I had a witness in here. And everything, Lord have mercy, that's worth something is going to cost you something. Lord have mercy, if it's real and genuine, it's going to cost you something. Look at somebody and say, stop being so cheap. Lord have mercy. How in the world are you going to be lavishing and expensive towards others when you're so cheap with yourself? I wish I had a witness in here. If you ain't qualitative towards yourself, you ain't going to be qualitative towards anybody else. I wish I had a witness in here. I don't expect you, Lord have mercy, to buy your shoes at Payless and then go to Nordstrom and buy me a pair. I wish I had a witness up in here. You first need to go to Nordstrom for yourself. Treat yourself at that level, then you'll know how to treat somebody else. I wish I had a witness right here. Lord have mercy, and that's why the church is in a difficult situation, is because Satan, Lord have mercy, has been using us to be fake. These are not, sit down please, these are not non-worshipers, these are the church people, scribes and Pharisees. This false sense of pride, this narcissist spirit, this overindulgence of needing to be applauded. You know, this need for attention, this need, this hunger, this addiction that I got to have my name called. My name ain't called. If my assignments don't get recognized, I got a problem. That's a problem. Because the economics of the kingdom, true greatness is silent. You don't need acknowledgement and recognition. What you really need to do is just stay on task and do what God tells you, and God will take care of the rest. I wish I had a witness right here. The same is true in this particular text that Jesus looks at the Pharisees and scribes. Read it if you will. He said, beware of their doctrine. Lord have mercy. Watch them. They lay charges on other people with not one finger. Lift the burden off of them. They make it hard for other people. They set status quo and standards for other people of which they're not going to follow themselves. They set rules and guidelines for for other people, which they're not going to pay attention to themselves. They tell others this is what you need to be doing when they're not doing it themselves. I wish I had some help right here. Lord have mercy. If you're going to be genuine, you got to be in a place yourself that you should never ask something of somebody that you're unwilling to do yourself. You should never tell somebody to go somewhere if you're unwilling to go there yourself. You should never put a burden on somebody if you're not burdened by the same thing. It becomes hypocrisy. Lord have mercy, to stand up here and talk about we ought to love everybody, but all you love is your circle. I wish I had a witness in here. We ought to support everybody, but all you support is your circle. I wish I had. That's hypocrisy. Lord have mercy. We the church, do you not know oftentimes we practice it? All of us are guilty. Some of us are going to sit real quiet when we don't got the mic. As soon as we get the mic, we tell everybody, y'all need to praise the Lord. Stop being dead and dry up in here. But when somebody else got the mic, you just sitting there being dead and dry. I wish I had a witness up in here. You want to tell everybody else what they ought to be doing. Lord have mercy, when you're in control, but you won't let that thing come out of you when you're not in control. Somebody right here ought to just wave at me. Lord have mercy, you got to understand, fake people are real. And the more we look at life now, we see the counterfeit. Sit down, please. Let me get a little social on you with a worldview for a moment. The church has been now exposed on what real racism looks like and what standards that are not applicable for some that are applicable for others. They say in some religious circles that Jesus has come back to the White House. That's an indictment that who was there before the current, that Jesus wasn't there. But how hypocritical is that? To say that Jesus has come back to the White House while children are put in cages and ripped from their parents and dying. How can I be pro-life and won't give health care, education, and housing to the life that I say I'm for? I'm against abortion, but I don't want to feed you. I'm against abortion, but I don't want to educate you. I'm against abortion, but I don't want to give you health care. That's hypocrisy. I got more money than I ever need, got more housing than I ever can live in, but I don't want to see you succeed. Come on, talk back to me. And some of us support some of the great evangelists and preachers who's a part of this movement of being just as fake. Lord, his $11 bill is. I wish I had a witness up in here. They're telling us, Lord have mercy, there's somebody whose name I won't call by the name of Paula White. I won't call her name, but I will say this. Lord have mercy, she stood up and said that God exalts and God put people in leadership. And we should not fight against the people that God put in leadership because God has ordained it. Well, I just want to know, did God exalt Obama? Do I have a witness in here? And did God put anybody else in office before Trump? Somebody ought to talk back to me. Lord have mercy. And we're buying their books, we're going to their conferences, we're getting inspired by them, but you got to understand, hypocrisy is real. Lord have mercy, the generations that live way before us really believe that the Bible taught them that we are not human, that we are less than them. They use the Bible. Lord have mercy, they use a preacher by the name of Turner to go around and preach to the slaves. And the only text they told them to preach was to say, obey your master. Do whatever your master tell you. I wish I had a witness up in here. And we have allowed certain things to enslave us. But look at somebody today and tell them you got to get rid of the fake people. Because you're better off by yourself than being around fake people. Let me show you how this hypocrisy works. Anybody that spent a lot of time texting you privately but can't speak to you publicly, there's something wrong with that. Come on, talk back to me. Lord have mercy. And let me give you something else that's an indicator. When you see people give a like on social media to people who don't like you. They won't respond to you publicly because they want to stay in the in crowd of the people that don't like you. So they stop acknowledging you on social media because they want to be connected to the people that they are part of. Look at them and say, "Your fake self." I wish I had a witness up in here. Your shout do not substantiate that you're genuine. I wish I had a witness in here. I don't care how much scripture you quote. The devil is the devil, and he know more Bible than all of us. The devil is the devil. The devil can quote scriptures from Genesis to Revelation, but he's not saved. So Jesus gives us indictment. He gives a strong indictment to the Pharisees and the scribes. He said, "Look at you. You dress with soft clothing on. You set up the traditions of men. You tell them what diet they ought to eat. In fact, here's somebody that has an infirmity for 18 years, and I heal them on the Sabbath. You say, don't do that on the Sabbath, but if my ox fall in the ditch, pull him out. Save my animal, but don't save this human being." That's hypocrisy. I wish I had a witness in here. At some point in time, as I go to my close, at some point in time, as the old folks said, the wash is going to come out in the water. I wish I had a witness. At some point in time, what you're doing privately is going to be exposed publicly. At some point in time, you can't keep faking it and think, "Lord have mercy, you're going to get by on this." Lord have mercy. That's why pride is such a powerful thing. We do all we can to present to people that we're all this and all that. That's why we don't talk about our battles until we come out of it. We don't talk about our victories until they're in arm's reach. Do I have a witness in here? But while we're going through it, don't know how that thing is going to come out, struggling with it, don't have the knowledge to know how that thing is going to turn out, we don't talk about it. Do I have a witness in here? All that is fake stuff, because when you're genuine, you will serve God in good times and bad times. When you're genuine, you will speak to everybody whether you know them or not. When you're genuine, you will show some sense of love. You may be up closer on some people. I get that. You got history with them. There's an archive. I get that. But that don't mean that you are dismissive of everything and everybody that is around you, because when the love of God is in your heart, you begin to love the whole world. Come on. Somebody ought to wave at me. Lord have mercy. Am I right about it? Lord have mercy. The church was in trouble because when the leadership ain't right, how can you get the fellowship right? How can I stand up here and espouse to you what you ought to be doing and giving you a false image of what you're supposed to be doing, but in the secrecy of my own life, I am not aiming at the things that I'm telling you? That's hypocrisy. I wish I had a witness in here. How can I tell you to give and I don't give? How can I tell you do the best you can to morally stay fit and to pray? Watch your eye gate, watch your ear gate, walk with the Lord on a daily basis, pray, trust God at every twist and turn of your life, seek God's will for your life, and I don't do that. I wish I had a witness in here, but some of us are deceived just by the Bible. Just because somebody quoted don't mean they're living it. That's why you got to wake up and get a Berean spirit on your life, to seek the scriptures, to see if those things that are being said, if they're true. And not only, while the Bible said we ought not to judge one another, you better start inspecting. I wish I had a witness in here. Don't you be naive and gullible. Look at somebody and say, don't you be naive. Don't you be gullible. Don't you just take anybody at their word. You better look, you better stare, you better behold, you better put your eyes on it. Because if somebody got a good shout, they ain't mean they holy. They just been in the mirror practicing. I wish I had a witness up in here. Some of us know how to choreographer. Lord have mercy, know how to get our shout in, know how to dance, know how to do this. And then when we leave out of here, we ain't no better than the people we talking about out there. The church has now become so mixed, so bent on getting rid of tradition tradition that we have now secularized the church. I wish I had a witness in here. And there are some things that are traditionally we ought to stick to. Come on, talk back to me. You ought to be cognizant of what you put on when you come in public, how you dress and how you present yourself. There are some things traditionally that you ought to do. You ought to show up on time. I wish I had a witness up in here. It's hypocrisy to get the work on time and can't get the church on time. I wish I had a witness in here. It's hypocrisy to give Caesar your best and not give God his best. So he says, woe unto you. Woe unto you. Danger hovers over you to sit here and give off false images. To give people this picture that my marriage is so beautiful. So you didn't rehearse in the car. When I wink at you, you wink back. Hadn't spoke all yesterday. Want to give people the appearance, we got it going on. That's hypocrisy. You do better just to look straight ahead. Say, I ain't feeling it today, and I want you to know that life ain't always easy. It's a fight and it's a struggle. Do I have a witness here? I'm saved, but I still got some situations. I'm saved, but I still got some struggles. I wish I had a witness in here. It's hypocrisy to always want to give people the image that you're winning. Sometimes your strongest witness is to show people that you're losing, but you're still in the fight. Do I have a witness here? I'm going to let y'all go. Lord have mercy. But look at somebody and say, fake people, fake people. Lord have mercy, tired of fake people. I'd rather walk alone with a genuine God, Lord have mercy, than to walk around a group of people that's just in and out, playing around with this thing. I need genuineness in my life. I need somebody that's authentic. I wish I had some help up in here. Lord have mercy. That's why the sinner finds it difficult to come to church with some sense of consistency and some sense of conviction, because you outdrink them and you outparty them, you outcurse them, you outsex them. Then you get up there and try to tell them Jesus is Lord. Do I have a witness in here? You're trying to tell them that the Lord is the way, and they looking at you saying, what? Lord have mercy, are you kidding me? Where are you sanctifying yourself when you acting just like me? I still don't get it. I ain't mad at nobody. I can't judge nobody. Got no standards for nobody. Live your life. Go on and live your life. Go on into eternity, whether it's unto heaven or to hell. Go on and live your life. But I just got a question for you. Why you got to showcase everything you're doing when somebody is conflicted and confused about which way to turn? It's better to be more decisive, Lord have mercy, and distinguish in your approach. Something that's sure and something that is not unsure, to confuse some people. That's why the Bible says, Lord have mercy, if your eye offend thee, pluck it out. If your hand offend thee, cut it off. If your feet offend thee, cut it out. Because the eye is what you're looking at, the hand is what you're handling, and the feet are the directions that you take. In other words, Jesus says, be careful while you look at things. Be careful how you handle things. Be careful where you're going, because you may be sending somebody who's confused about this or that. Lord have mercy, not towards the kingdom, but away from the kingdom. Can you imagine if all the officers right here, right now, will pull out a joint in their pocket, Lord have mercy, and pull out a bottle to drink? It will give everybody the impression, all them saved, godly men, if they can smoke and drink, it must be all right, because they got the Bible in them. They're saved. I wish I had a witness up in here. Sometimes we act more worldly than we do act saved. I wish I had a witness in here. If I would poll the audience today, you know more lyrics from the rappers than you know what's in the hymn book. I wish I had a witness up in here. You know more of the names of the rappers than you know Matthew, Mark, Luke, John in the Bible. I wish I had a witness up in here. Because your flesh wants to accommodate that which is of the world. But I come to speak to somebody. Don't mean you're right in everything, but you can be genuine. Do I have a witness in here? You're stumbling, but you can be genuine. Lord have mercy. High five somebody. Look them in the eyes of me and said, I'm tired of the faking. I'm tired of the pretension. I'm tired of the counterfeit. I'm looking for something that's real. I need to get around some people, get around some situations where it's real. If you don't like the thing, tell me. If you're bothered by something, tell me. Don't look me in the eye and say, I'm all right. But underneath, you're upset. I need some realness all around me in order that God might get the glory. Let me close by telling you this. Fake is not going anywhere. Fakeness is not going anywhere. Everybody that you think is a real friend may not be. Because if you're genuine, you don't let seasons and circumstances shift you when you're genuine. I've watched me, I've watched others. I do my best to monitor me. Got no control over no one else. But I come to lay this simple lesson out to us today. You better be very, very careful. And it would be harm to think that you got a real, genuine article only to find out that it's fake. That you want to put on some Timberlands, but somebody didn't just put an imprint on the shoe, and you think you walking with some real Timbs on. And somebody who got a real good eye says, that ain't real. And now you get offended because they tell you that ain't real. I remember when I was a kid, I had this jacket. You couldn't tell me it wasn't leather. I was sporting that jacket. The word we used in the 70s, you were vining. You remember that? See, that's our generation. Man, you can vine. I'm vining. That's a word for you. Vining. Then I stood up beside somebody who had a real one on. I felt mine and I felt theirs. I said, wait a minute, something. I held theirs in their hand, they had more weight. Mine was, when I picked theirs up, I did that. When I picked mine up, theirs just worn nicely and wrinkled real nicely with unique creases in it. Mine started cracking. They could come out the inclement weather and just wipe down. I wiped down and color started. It was then I learned that everything that says is one thing don't mean it is. Come on, high five your neighbor for the last time and tell them fake people. You want to get rid of the fake stuff. You want to get rid of that which is disingenuous. Because Jesus is quite scandalous. He's not nice. He's not kind. He's not gentle when it comes to hypocrisy. That's why you want to be what you really are in public, what you are in private. You never have to play act when you're a genuine article. You never have to play act. If you're genuine, wherever you are in private, it's an overflow in the public. God bless you. God keep you. Let us press on and be genuine. Let us be honest. Let us be true.